In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create and sell activity books on Amazon KDP. Welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline, and because we are getting very close to Halloween and close to Christmas, it's a really great time of year to have activity books available for sale on Amazon because they are very popular books at this time of the year. Particularly for kids, parents like to buy themed activity books as a little stocking stuffer type of present and to help keep kids occupied over the holidays when they're not in school. Coloring books are also very popular at these times of year too, but I thought I'd get into the details of how to create activity books because I feel they are a little harder to make than something like a coloring book, and because I have done videos before on making coloring books, I thought I would mix it up and do something a little bit different. And I know I get lots of requests about activity books, how to make them, how to sell them, and things like that. I thought I'd focus on activity books for this video. Activity books have lots of different types of pages within them, which is why I feel they are a little harder to make. They have different types of puzzles, activities, coloring pages, etc. And so a bit more thought needs to go into making them. Now, the first step is to figure out who are you targeting with your book? Kids or adults, their age, gender, hobbies or holidays. And I'd say for the most part, activity books are going to be aimed at kids. That's not to say that you can't make them for adults or that you won't sell anything if you do make them for adults, but personally, I feel activity books are really made and are more popular with kids. Now from there, you need to decide what types of pages you want to include in your book. Activity books can come as the fun kind of books with mazes and puzzles and coloring images in them, or they can be the more educational type of activity books and contain pages that have more problem-solving types of activities. The most important thing though is that the activities that you include in your book are age appropriate, because there is a massive difference with children depending on their age as to what types of activities and the difficulty level of those activities that you will include in your book. For example, if you're going to be making a book for a 4-year-old, the pages and activities that you include are going to be massively different to what you would include in an activity book for maybe an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old child. For this part, I do my research on Amazon and I basically just take a look at other books similar to what I want to make or the age group that I'm targeting and see what types of activities they have in their books and also what the customers like about the books and what they don't. Now, it's very important to understand this isn't research to copy anyone's book or their puzzles. It's purely just to get an idea of the types of activities and the difficulty level that it should be at for the age that you want to make the book for. So that's especially important if you haven't made a book for that age group or this type of book before, to make sure that you're making something appropriate for that age. So let's just have a look at a couple of different books on Amazon. I've just done a search for activity book for kids. I haven't targeted any specific age or I haven't targeted boys or girls or anything like that. We're just purely looking for activity books to see what's out there. So the first one that's caught my eye is this Unicorn, Mermaid and Princess activity book for kids aged 4 to 8. Now, while this book is going to be fine for boys or girls, it is a little bit more marketed towards girls, I would say. And I would just take a look inside and see what kind of puzzles are in here, what kind of activities are in here, what kind of difficulty level is there. So this look inside has given us a really good look at the inside of this book. Normally when I use the look inside feature, it maybe shows one page or none, but this has shown us a lot of pages to be able to see what type of activities are in this book. So there's a good range of activities in there, and I got a good idea of the difficulty level for that particular age group that person's targeted. In my opinion, 4 to 8 is a little bit of a big age range. I feel like the skill level of a 4-year-old is completely different to that of an 8-year-old. By looking at those activities that I just saw, I'd say they're targeted to more 4 to 6. I have a daughter who's 5 and she would be doing those types of activities and puzzles at the moment. So I imagine that at the age of 8, she would probably find them a little bit too easy, but that's just my personal opinion. And that's just something that you would have to go through and decide for yourself too. Especially if you've got kids, you will know or you'll have an idea of the types of activities and the types of difficulty level that will be appropriate for each age. If you don't have kids, just spend a lot of time going through these books, looking at the ones that really sell well and what the reviews are saying about them, and make sure that the customers are happy with the puzzles and the activities that are in the books. And then you can take it from there to get an idea of the type of puzzles and the difficulty of those puzzles or activities that you're going to need to include in yours. And you might be able to notice as well, if you're just looking at what I'm scrolling through, I did mention that you can target ages, genders, hobbies, and things like that. And so you might have noticed there was an astronomy activity book up here. So targeting kids who are really into space and stars and astronomy. There's a space one here as well, dinosaurs. So there's lots of different sub niches that you can target if you want to drill down a little bit further than just activity books. I'm going to take a look at this one here, activity book for kids aged 6 to 8, and let's see what's inside of this one. So we've got some connect the dots, and like I say, I only got to see one page of that look inside feature. It's interesting how that previous book we got to see so much of the inside. All I can see there is a connect the dots. I might take a look if there's any A+ content or no A+ content or anything in the reviews. There's no photos or videos in the reviews, but it looks like there's only 1 or 2 bad reviews. This one says it's very repetitive, so that's something to keep in mind, that you might need to make sure you've got enough variety within the book. And then this one said that it needed to be edited or proofread. That's something very important. Going to take a look at this one, jumbo activity book for kids aged 4 to 8. Again, that seems to be sort of like a standard age range that people are targeting. And that may be to do with some keyword research that they've done on Amazon possibly, but we'll have a look. This one's got some letter tracing, a turtle maze, some more letter tracing, a word search. That word search would be way too difficult for a 4-year-old, that is for sure, and even 5, possibly 6-year-old. Like I say, my daughter's 5. She can't spell words like that yet. We've got a very, very basic dot to dot, another basic dot to dot. So this is sort of a bit of an educational type of activity book mixed in with a fun type of activity book. You've got these educational ones like the letter tracing, and then you've got fun stuff like mazes, and you can totally do that. You can really do whatever you want with the puzzles in your book. And I'll look at one more, but this is generally what I would do, but I'd spend a really good amount of time looking through lots of different books in the niche or sub-niche that I'm interested in, just to get an idea of what they're like and why they're selling. This one's got a bit of coloring. I can't see much more than that in the look inside feature, but we've got 25 coloring pages and 25 activity pages. So the only activity page that they've displayed on the book is this spot the difference activity. Might pop down to the reviews and see if anyone's posted. Oh, yeah, so we've got some pictures here. I'm assuming that review is just basically about the fact that there's a bit of a printing issue there. Oh, let's have a look at this video and see what the inside of the book's like. So we've got a spot the difference. We've got a maze. I can't really see the book. I can really only see her face. We've got some coloring. So we couldn't really see much inside of that video, but we did see that there's a maze in there. There's some spot the differences. I'm assuming that's probably what most of the activity pages will be made up of. But that is just a quick overview of just going through and seeing, like I say, what the other books contain, what type of activities that customers are liking in the books that are selling. So for this example that I'm going to be making in this video, I've decided I'm going to create a fun type of activity book for kids aged 6 to 8. It's going to be made up of puzzles, mazes, and coloring pages, maybe some extra stuff in there if I think of any other kind of activity pages to pop in, kind of like how we saw in that last book. There was some spot the differences, so I might include something like that. And because Christmas is coming up, I'm going to theme it for Christmas, because why not? So at this point, I go to BookBolt's new BookBolt Studio. I love this tool. They have just created this recently for KDP publishers. I did a video on it not too long ago. I'll link the videos I've done previously about using this software down in the description if you want to go check those out. And we just want to head up here and change this to create. And then I want to go to the BookBolt Studio. So this is BookBolt's new designer / book creator. And I love it. It's just so easy. They have made it so suitable for making books for KDP, especially when it comes to getting the book size, the margins, the trim, the bleed, all that technical stuff, getting it right. It makes it so much quicker to get the interior and covers the right size in a very quick way. I used to use lots of different programs, or not lots, but several different programs to make my books. And this has made it simple to just be able to do the majority of it in one program. Now, I have worked with BookBolt for a very long time, basically since I started my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and I have a coupon that you are welcome to use if you do want to get 20% off a subscription. I'll pop the coupon code down in the description below so you can take advantage of that if you want to get a discount on your subscription fees. Then I just need to set up my new project that I'm going to be creating. So I'm going to start off and just make a paperback interior, and I'll do the cover later. We'll give it a name, and then we can select the size here. All these sizes correspond to what you can print with Amazon KDP. So this particular book, I'm going to be doing 8.5 by 11 inch black and white interior with white paper, and I'm going to say no bleed and 80 pages, and then we create the interior. And this gives us the template of the interior. You have your grid lines so you know where you need to keep your text and images to make sure they get printed, and we've got our page set up here. So the next step that I would take is that I need to work out what each page is going to contain. So you can either set the book out in sections, so you have all the mazes together in one section, then all the coloring pages together in the next section, and so on and so on, or you can just randomize them and have different activities on different pages. So as the child is going through the book, there's something new and something different on each page. I like to randomize mine, so I take some time to decide which order the activities are going to go in. For example, I'll just pop a little text box on each page and I'll just say interior cover page. So I might just put something here to make the first page just look nice. It's not really necessary to have an interior cover page, but a lot of the books do. And then we could maybe just leave this one blank because that's going to be the back page. Then this one I might put copyright page or something like that, or social media contact page. So you just might have information for how the customers can follow you on social media if they want to. If you have a free lead magnet for getting people onto your email list, you can have that information here as well. And then I might leave this one as a blank page. And then now is where I will decide what I want on each page. So it would go something like this. I might decide that the first page is going to be a coloring page. And then after the coloring page, I may decide to put a maze. Next, I might put a dot to dot, and so on and so on. So you can just mix them up a little bit so there's something different on each page for the child to keep their interest. So they don't get bored with the same puzzles over and over, or the same coloring type of pages over and over. You're welcome to do it that way if you want. This is just my personal preference to do it. And from all the activity books that I've seen, generally this is the way that they do it. So it might take a few minutes, but it is really helpful just to sit and go through and just note down on each page what you are going to include, so you can make sure before you start making or adding in your elements that everything's going to be sort of in the sequence that you want it to be. And ideally is what you want to do is just make sure you've got a nice mix of each of the different types of things that you're going to include in the book. So let's say you've got an 80 page book. About 85 are probably going to have actual activities on them, because the other 5 pages, one's probably the cover page, one's probably the copyright page or that social media page. So you keep a few pages spare for just additional information that you want to include. Or if you want to include the solutions for some of the puzzles at the back, keep a few pages for that. So let's say you're going to have 70 or 75 actual activities. You could break that up to say, okay, well, I want to have 10 to 15 of those pages to be coloring pages, 10 pages to be mazes, 10 pages to be dot to dots, 10 pages to be color by number, and so on and so on. You don't want to make it so that there's too much of one particular type of puzzle. You want to make sure there's a good variety spread out over a bunch of different activities and puzzles. And basically, once you've done that whole setup of the book, now we can start actually making the pages. I'm going to start with mazes because this is something I can do right now within BookBolt. So I'm going to show you an example of creating a maze activity page. So I've just deleted that little text box that I had there saying that there was going to be a maze there. And I'm just going to head over here to this page templates. This is all the different templates that you can use that BookBolt provide, and you can use them in your KDP book interiors if you want to. So I'm going to head down here and have a look at what type of maze that I'm going to use. So I think I'm just going to use a circle because it's a little bit interesting. I'm just going to use it on that one page, and I'm just going to make the outline of the maze a little bit thicker and I'm going to make it black. I'm going to leave the cells count as 10. The cell count determines the difficulty level of the maze, and that's basically it. You've got a maze pre-made and on the page for you. Now, if you wanted to have circular mazes on multiple pages, all you would need to do, or one particular type of maze on multiple pages, you just click the different pages that you would want them on, and it would insert a maze into all the different pages that you've selected. And then once I've created all the mazes for the pages that I selected,
just went ahead and started
the
the
process
process
of
of
filling
pages.
pages and what I was including. And I just did this very quickly. I have this
put in
already. I
I
decided to throw
in
in
some
and
colour by numbers,
any other
and then I
colours
can go
I
in and
want
add
as well,
in
just for some
pages.
variety. So once you have completed all your pages, you've filled up your book and your interior with everything that you want and you're done, you are ready to download this interior. You just head down here and export it to PDF, and a PDF is the file that you need to upload into your KDP account. And from here, all you need to do is to design and create your cover. So you do need two separate files to upload to KDP. One is going to be the interior of the book and one is going to be the cover. And to create the cover, you can do this easily within the Book Designer 2. We just need to create a new project, and we want to create a paperback cover, and you just keep the dimensions the same obviously as what you had chosen for the interior. So you need to have the same trim size, which is the size of the book, and you need to select the correct paper, the paper that you chose for your interior file, and your page count, and we create a project. And what I love about the cover creator within BookBolt is that it comes automatically with the KDP template. So in the past, you would need to download this template, or you would need to work out the dimensions for the size of the cover and all the trim and all that sort of stuff, because when you create a cover on KDP, you need to include the back cover, the front cover, and the spine. And then you could, sort of import all that information or import that template into whatever program that you used to create the cover. With BookBolt, it just is there. So you don't need to do anything. You just create your cover template, and then you start designing on top of here, and you know where everything needs to go. So you know not to put anything into the pink area or the orange area. You know not to put anything under this barcode area and things like that. And like I just mentioned about the cover, it does have to be one file for your front cover, back cover, and spine. So that template helps you create that one file which you need, and that will wrap around the whole book and create the whole cover for that whole book. And then once you are done, you download your cover file the same as you did with the interior file. You will then have two files, and these are the files you need to upload into KDP so that your book can be published and for sale on Amazon. I hope you enjoyed this video and watching how I go about creating activity books to sell on Amazon KDP, and I'll see you in the next video.